Hi there and welcome back. It's Lisa from Critters'n Ink Designs in Ontario, Canada. Today we're going to be showcasing, ta-da, Rhino Ready. I got a glare. The sun is right at my window here. Isn't that stinking cute? And this Rhino Ready is part of the online exclusives that are only available online because they're online exclusives. So let me switch down to my desk and I'll just show you these really quickly. Look at how cute these are. So there's so many new products that are only available online. So there's the Tropical Leaf Bundle, which is in French and English. There's a bunch of new kits and a few new punches and some embossing folders. And here is the Rhino Ready. And it's a bundle. And it comes with the dies that we're going to be using in a minute. And there's some designer series paper and Hello Irresistible. There's some branded items as well. There's a little toque here, which I've been wearing this winter. I just love it. It's really warm. Another embossing folder. And some of the other branded products that we have are these tumblers, the drinking tumblers. And you can see I use mine all the time. You've seen me use this one lots of times. It will keep, I've kept it down here with ice in it, and there's still ice in it when I come back down in the morning. It keeps it really, really cold or hot. I haven't used it for hot. I mostly use it for cold, and there's sweatshirts and more kits and some designer series, not designer series, in color, colored grid paper and more kits, lots of kits, so many kits. And then on the back here, ta-da, they've brought back 2 of the circle punches, which I'm really, really excited about. So there's the 2-inch one is back and the 1 3/4-inch one is back. And I'm hoping that they bring back some of the smaller ones too, but for now, that's what's available. And some shopping bags as well. So if you're interested in looking at these, I'll have the link, as I said, in the description and we can check that out. So let's look at what we're going to do today. So we have these 3 little cards. And I think I'm going to do 2. I'm going to do this window card, and then I'm going to do a variation of this window card. Isn't that so cute? So these cards actually, I'm casing from my friend Jennifer, who I did an unscripted impromptu video with the other day. So you might want to check that video out. We were trying to figure out some of the software that I'm still struggling with a little bit, but what we're going to do is take this window card and turn it into a shaker card. Okay. Isn't that sweet? So you can still see the hippo, not hippo, the rhino behind, but it's a shaker card. So we're going to do that one as well. But we'll get started with this little window card right here. So, so cute. So to make this card, we're going to need, our card base is going to be 5.5 by 5.5. And I've scored it at 1 1/4. So let me just fold that down. And we're also going to need some designer series paper. And the one I'm using is called Design a Daydream, which is in the annual catalog. And it's actually a host set. So if you have an order $200 or more, you can actually order this host only designer series paper. And it's a massive, massive pack of paper. And so we're going to be using this one here. And the back of that is little windmill kind of things. So I'll just quickly show you the papers. They're absolutely gorgeous. So we have the windmill one with the green on the back, which is, we're using this one. And there's some little kites and some diamonds, some little florals, just really, really a pretty paper. And the coordinating colors are Blackberry Bliss, Daffodil Delight, Mint Macaron, Old Olive, Petal Pink, and Pool Party. But I've actually matched it with a couple of different colors as well. There's so many colors in here that you can really just add all sorts of stuff to it. And it's really fun. Love this paper. So for this, we need of that designer series paper, we need one piece that is 5.5 by 1.5 and two pieces that are 5.5 by 1. Then we need a piece of window sheet that is 4.25 by 5.5 and some scraps of, I'm using Mossy Meadow and Early Espresso. And I have a sheet of basic white, and we're going to stamp out our rhinos. Now I've cut out a bunch of rhinos already, but I'll just show you. If you're not familiar with die cutting, I'll go ahead and show you that. And I've pre-stamped some of the little birds, and we're going to cut those out with the dies as well. And I think that's all we need for that card. Oh, and also we need the white for our clouds. I think that's everything. Okay, let's get started. So the first thing we need to do is stamp out our rhino. And I'm just going to mount that on a block. Now these are red rubber cling stamps. And by cling, I mean that there is a sticky layer with the design on it that sticks to your blocks. It's really, really secure. So let's get this moved out of the way. We'll stamp out one of our rhinos. So cute. Oh, it's adorable. And then I'm going to stamp out a couple of birds too. We just need two little birdie birds. And what else do I need? I think that's all. Oh, I should stamp out while we're stamping, might as well. We're using It's a Great Day, which is part of the stamp set here. And I'm just going to put that right on the edge there. Great. Okay, so we're finished with that. That's our stamping all done. And we'll get those out of the way so I don't get ink transfer on anything. And I'm using my boho blue mini cutter today, which was part of the starter kit if you joined Stampin' Up! During January and February. I'm just going to cut this way like this because this is a mini cutter. You only have about 3.5 inches across like this. So let me find my die here. So I just keep my dies when I'm working in a little metal pin tray. Actually, I think I got this at Canadian Tire. I got it either at Canadian Tire or Princess Auto in Ontario because I was losing dies. My cats jump on my desk because, you know, they want to help. And Georgie in particular, the little black one, she's notorious for throwing my dies across the room, and she was driving me crazy. So I thought, okay, if I hide them in a metal dish, I won't have to be searching for dies. So let me see, I'm going to cut out these little birds. And you get actually two little birds in the dies. You get two of the little birds, so that's nice. I can cut both of them out at the same time. So that's why I stamped them quite a ways apart so that I could. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit here. That's a little bit better, I think. So let me just line that one up. And then my rhino. There's a really good chance I'm going to call this a hippo at some point, so just bear with me. There we go. Okay. So I'm just going to run that through my little die cutter. So this little die cutter is now available only in white, but it is available to purchase, and it's very handy. You can just leave it right on your desk. Have it handy, and it just folds up like this. And I just pop it over on my desk, and I just keep it right beside me here. Okay, so that's our rhino. So I'm going to color him with my blends, and I'm going to use light and dark smoky slate. It's gray granite, smoky slate. So if you're using a good table, you want to make sure that you have some scrap paper underneath. So I'm going to use the dark to do some shading. And alcohol coloring goes very quickly because you don't really need much in the way of pressure. And it's a big brush tip and it goes really fast. And you could make a career out of it if you wanted to, but you don't need to. Alrighty, so now I'm going to come in with the light and I'm just going to blend it around a little bit. And again, you don't have to press hard. You actually don't want to press hard so that you don't damage your brush tip. And then you can see how it all just blends together. And these do have two tips. One of them is the brush tip, which I'm using. I'll show you the other tip here in a sec. And they blend beautifully. So it gives you lots of texture. So this is the brush tip. And then this bullet tip is much more for like fine little lines. Okay, and I'm going to use dark real red for the bird, and I'm going to use the bullet tip so that I don't go over the edges because it's a little tiny bird. There, he's so cute. Oh, and I'll color these guys while we're here. My two little birds. Actually, this one didn't cut out the greatest. I'm going to grab this one. I thought I had another little bird. I'll just use this one. Kind of excited. My husband got a sous vide for his birthday last month. So he's been researching cooking with a sous vide. So if you're not familiar with sous vide means, it literally translated from French, it means under vacuum. So you put your food into plastic bags and you submerge it into this water with this sous vide cylinder that goes into the water, and it maintains a constant temperature. And like he's going to do a roast, for instance, the roast will sit in the sous vide for 24 to 30 hours. I'm not telling a lie. And we're thinking, how is that going to work? But for whatever reason, it'll still come out rare to medium rare, believe it or not, after 30 hours. All right, so let's make the card now. Oh, you know what I forgot to cut out was my clouds. So I'm going to just show you the dies here. So in the die package, you have these elements here, which I think are supposed to be grass, but I'm cutting them out as clouds, and I'm gonna just invert them. So the flat part will go to the top, and then these are your tree tops. So we'll be cutting those out. So I might as well cut out all of these while we're at it, instead of bringing it back and whatever. I need my plates. So when you're using the mini cutter, you have one base plate, which is number 1, and 2 cutting plates, which are both number 2. So we're going to put the base plate and a number 2 down. And I've got my basic white here, and I'm going to take my 2 grass dies and I'm going to make clouds out of them. And they're grabbing towards each other because they've been sitting in a magnetic dish. I didn't realize I magnetized them. I hope that's okay. All right, so I'm going to run these through twice so that I have several clouds to choose from. So there's 2. Out you go. And then I'll run it through again. Today it's so sunny right now. It's an absolutely beautiful day. We went for a walk earlier and it's sunny and it's not warm, but it's like 0 centigrade, which is 32 Fahrenheit. But it wasn't long after we got home and it got really cloudy and the wind really picked up to like over 30 kilometers. And then we had a major snowstorm for about an hour. And now it's all sunny and blue skies again. It's very, very weird weather. Oh, out you go. This does not want to pop out. Got my pokey tool in here. There we go. Okie doke. There, so we have a few clouds there. And we need some treetops. So let me grab those dies. And there's 2 different sizes of treetop. So we're going to cut out 2 of each as well. And I'm just using, scraps. I'm using Mossy Meadow, as I mentioned earlier. So there's 2. And 2 more. Alrighty, so there are our treetops. Now for the tree bottom, or the tree trunks, not the tree bottom. For the tree trunks, what I used was some scraps of early espresso. And what I did was, so on this one, I put the adhesive sheets on the back. So I'll just quickly show you on this piece how to use the adhesive sheets. Because if you've never used these, they're a total game changer. So I've got some scraps of, keep all your little pieces because you can use them. So I've got some scraps of the adhesive sheets. And I'm going to just lift it up. Just going to lay it right on the edge. And then I'm just going to trim off what I don't need. And so this little piece is still good. I'm going to use that on something else at some point. So I'll just pop that back in the envelope. So you get 12 sheets of 6 by 12. So now I'm going to take my piece of early espresso and I'm going to put my tree dies on top of the cardstock. You could do them this way because it's not directional necessarily. But if it was a letter or a word, you would definitely have to have it on this side, because if you tried to cut it out from this end and it was a word, it's going to be backwards. Okay, so I'm going to zoom back out a little bit here because I think I'm working too close. So I've got my tree dies, and there are 2 different ones. This one reminds me of moose antlers. There, so pop that on there. And I'm going to cut out 4 of those. Now this one shifted over, and luckily it didn't go under the other die because it could have damaged them. So be careful about that. If you find that they are shifting, you might want to pop a piece of tape on there just to hold them. So there's one. So there's our tree trunk with the adhesive on the back. Okay, and here's our other one. And I'm just going to cut out 2 more. There we go. Alrighty. All right, so let's pop these guys out. And there's our other one. Okay, that's great. All right, so let's get this out of the way and let's start to put our card together. So let's see, what did I do with my window sheet? So my window sheet is the same size as my card front, 4¼ by 5½. And actually this one is a little bit longer. I'm just gonna square it up with my little trimmer. And our window sheet comes in 12 by 12 sheets, and they're in the annual catalog. Okay. There we go. Perfect. Okay. All right. So for this, I'm going to use double-sided tape. Grab a roll of tear and tape. I had a roll on my desk, and as I sat back down, I noticed it's underneath my desk. So I think Georgie was up here. So tear and tape is also in the annual catalog in the adhesive section. So I'm just going to place some tear and tape along on the short side, right along the score line, and then again near the edge. Now you will be able to see this through the other side, but it's not obnoxious. And if it bothers you, you can always glue just another piece of the Balmy Blue right over it. Okay. So there's our adhesive. And I'm just going to line this up, the card base, and just fold that flap over. So now we have our free floating window. And now for the bottom part, we have our 2 pieces of designer series paper. So we have 5½ by 1¼ I think. Wrong piece. This is for our other card. So this one is 5½ by 1¼ and these 2 pieces are 5½ by 1. And I'll show you why you need 2 in a minute. So this one is going to actually go on the inside of the card. This is the 1¼ piece. And here we go. All right, so that's the inside of the card. And then on the outside here, I'm going to use the tear and tape again, but I'm going to put it on the designer series paper so that I know exactly where it's going to go. So I'm going to put 1 piece at the top. And 1 piece at the bottom. And I'm going to do the same thing to my second piece. So 1 piece at the bottom. There we go. Might take a pick tool here. All right, so the first one is I'm going to line it right up with the bottom of the window sheet, like that. And check to see if you need to trim off any. I need to just like a hair on this side. And this side's okay. And the reason why I'm putting a second piece on the inside is because this doesn't really go with kind of what we're doing, right? So I'm going to peel that turn tape off and just use it as a liner for this other piece here. So same thing, I'm just going to line it up along the bottom and just give it a little tiny trim. Just a little haircut there. And there's so far our card. It's easy. All right, so let's clean this up a little bit. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who supported me during celebration the last couple of months. I really appreciate your business. And I know times are kind of tough right now with the economy being what it is, but I really appreciate your business because this is a job for me, and you know, any support is highly, highly appreciated. I just wanted to pop that on there because, sometimes you forget to say thank you to your supporters. It may not seem like a lot to a lot of people, but I'm up to 220 subscribers on YouTube. So for me, you know what? That's huge. And I appreciate that as well. So thank you to all my new subscribers. And if you're not a subscriber quite yet, please hit the subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you get notified when my YouTubes drop. And also, the likes are important too. It helps with my numbers on YouTube. So if you wouldn't mind just hitting the like as well, that's highly appreciated. All right, so let's continue with our card here. So here are our trees. So I'm going to put 2 on the inside. I'm just going to peel the backing off of the tree. And that's how easy it is. But what a time saver. I don't have to fight with all these little branches and liquid glue because trust me, it's not pretty. But this is easy. You just pop it on there. And then I'm just going to trim off that one little branch right there so that it's not going to interfere with going into an envelope. And we'll pop the, actually I think I'll use the big one on that one. I don't know if it's the atmospheric pressure or what the heck it is, but my glue is really gluey today. All right, so I'm just going to pop this tree here and trim off the top of the tree there. And let's see, we'll put one of the bigger ones too up in the back here. So again, we're just going to peel off the backing from the adhesive. Come on, there we go. And pop that tree right up here. And same thing, I'm just going to cut off the little branch over here and put this big thing here. Now, when you cut these little edges off, like a half of a tree, don't throw it out because you can always use it to have a smaller tree up and behind or something, you know. So let's see. Let's glue it first and cut it later. There, I'll pop that on there. So what I was mentioning before is if that glue strip bothers you, you could always put a piece of the blue on top, you know, to cover the strips of the glue tape. It doesn't bother me, but if it bothers you, go right ahead and cover that up. All right, so I'm going to trim this tree. And, you know, again, don't throw these out. You can use them. And in fact, I could put one over here to make it look like there was another tree in the background. Which, you know what? Maybe I'll just do that. I'm just going to straighten this up. And it'll look like there's another tree. Oops. Over here. So cute. And we're going to pop our rhino right here. We can go ahead and pop him there. He just looks so happy. Happy, happy. Happy little rhino. Dancing along with his little birdie bird friend. Isn't that cute? All right, so let's do our other two trees. Oops. Boy, I can't get over that sun and the blue sky. If you could have seen outside an hour or two ago, it was just a blizzard. It was ridiculous. All right, so I want to make sure that I'm not going to cover up my rhino too much with my tree. Use a little one. Now this is going on to the window sheet, so I'm going to use snail as opposed to liquid glue. I don't know if the liquid glue would work, to be honest. It probably would, but I know that this snail is a good. I'm using an old one that is retired now, but the new, just grab one. So the Stampin' Seal Plus would work very well. It's a really heavy duty tape runner, and that would work really well too. I'm just using up, this is Fast Fuse, which used to be Stampin' Up tape runner, and I still have a bunch of the refills, so I'm just using them up. But you can certainly use, you know, whatever you have. I think for the window sheet part, that would probably work better than liquid glue. If you've had experience with the liquid glue on the window sheet, let me know. Oh, here, see what I just did? I put liquid glue. Well, I guess we'll find out. I'm just going to put a block on there to let it sit for a second. Just leave that on there for now. And I'm going to just use my trimmer to cut this out. So I'm lining up the bottom of my letters with the edge of my cutting strip there so that it's straight. Okay, and then I'm going to flip it around and do it this way as well. Just on the other side. Isn't that funny? I almost cut right through that. And there we are, and I'm just going to trim that. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to trim our little leaf off on this side. And pop this sentiment on the bottom. And then we'll pop a couple of our little birdie birds right on there. So cute. Cute as a little birdie bird. There. Oh, I forgot one of our trees here. Isn't that adorable? I just think that's so adorable. Sweet. Now, if you wanted to, you could put just a little white strip across the bottom. I wouldn't go more than maybe 3/4 of an inch of white if you just wanted somewhere to write your greeting. Or you could put a piece of white on the back and stamp another rhino and have somewhere to write a note if you wanted to. But oh, that is just adorable. So the next one we're going to do is a shaker card using Jenn's circle window card. So if you've followed me for any length of time, you know that I am a sucker for a shaker card. So let's go ahead and prepare for that. So, oops. All right, so for that one, I have a card base that is basic white, and I'm using the thick basic white. And I have a piece of balmy blue that is 4 by 5 1/4. And I have 2 pieces of window sheet that I'm going to have to trim. I want them one to be 3 3/4 by 5, and the other one to be probably 3 3/4 square. Okay, so I'm going to trim those. And then I also have a piece of designer series paper that is 2 by 4. So let's see. The first thing we need to do is, well, we're going to trim our window sheet. And it's probably not the greatest thing for your blades, but you know what, honestly, I don't have a separate one for window sheet. Now don't throw these out, because sometimes if you're doing little pop-ups, you can glue, say you wanted to glue some little birds or something and you were doing a different type of card, these little strips of window sheet are perfect, so don't throw them out. So I'm going to go 3 3/4 by 5 for one. And the other one, I think 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 should be fine. I can always trim it if I need to. So 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to glue my designer series paper onto the bottom of my balmy blue there, and that's going to be our grass. And then I'm going to take my layering circles, and these are still available, and I hope they don't retire these. These are the best circle dies ever. Now they're not stitched. Some of them are scalloped and some of them are just plain. So I think, let me just double check. I think I used the second largest. I did. I used the second largest of the circles to create my window. So for this one, I'm actually going to have to switch over to my larger cut and emboss machine, because the paper is 4 by 5 1/4 and it won't fit into the mini. So to cut with dies on the larger one, you need 4 pieces. So you need your number 1 is your base plate, and then you need the die cutting shim, which is number 2. and then your first cutting plate, and you have 2 cutting plates and they're number 3s. So I'm going to lay this here, and I'm going to center my die on the front of the card, making sure that I get some of the grass, and I have it pretty well centered from left to right. So I'm going to run that through. And we are going to line this up on our card base. So the fold is here, but I'm going to line this up so that it's centered with the same amount of border all the way around. And I'm just going to take a pencil and very lightly just make a little mark so that I know where to cut it with our circle die. Okay, so I'm just going to grab some washi tape and hold that in place so it doesn't shift. I just want to double check, make sure that that didn't move. Because when I made the other one, it actually did move, and I had to do some jigging around. So, you know, check twice, cut once. It's like quilting and carpentry. There we are. All right, so let me grab my cutting machine again. And I'm going to run it through this way. There we go. All right. Okay, so we can pop that out of there. And I cut out my lines so I don't have to erase them. And go ahead and fold my card base, and we'll set it aside just for now. Got a little piece of like glue or something on there. If you don't have one of these rubber erasers for glue, I highly recommend it. This will take glue off and not destroy your paper. So if you don't have one, I do have them in my adhesive kits that I have for sale. So let me grab one for you. These are my glue or my adhesive little kits, and I sell them for $50. That includes the tax. And so in there you have a stamp and seal, a tear and tape, large dimensionals and mini dimensionals, mini glue dots, liquid glue, and a gum eraser to remove your glue. So I do sell these for $50, and I've just had to make a whole pile of new ones, so they're back in stock. So if you're interested in this, just let me know. Drop me an email at critters'nink@gmail.com, and I'd be happy to pop one in the mail for you. And yeah, so it's very handy, that little pouch, if you're traveling to courses or, you know, whatever. So, all right. So what I want to do here is I'm going to line this up with my circle. I'm going to pop some glue on the back of my grass. And then I'm going to make sure that this is all lined up. And I'm just going to sit this right on the inside of the card base. Okay, so that you're going to see it when you open up your card. Now, to make the shaker card part of it, I'm going to use tear and tape. You can use tape runner if you like. I love tear and tape. I use it an awful lot, as you know. And so on my piece of 4 by 5 1/4, 4 by 5 1/4, I'm going to put the tear and tape right on the window sheet. I'm going to go all the way around as close to the edge as I can. All right. My husband and I have gotten hooked on this. Well, it's new to us. It's probably not a new show, but it's new to us. It's called Death in Paradise, and it's on BritBox. It's a very light, not light-hearted so much as light weight, I guess. Murder mysteries, and the detectives are from this imaginary island called Saint Marie, and the chief of detectives is from England, and it's really entertaining and quite funny at times. So we've gotten a little bit hooked on that. So if you're looking for a new something to binge on, there's several seasons too. I think we're like in season 6 already, and we really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. Okay, so I'm going to center this in the middle of my card without the cat hair. There, okay. If you're finding that you have a lot of static on your window sheets, go ahead and rub your embossing buddy on it, and that will eliminate some of the static that you have. Okay, so now for the shaker part of it, we're going to need our foam strips. So let me show you what they are. If you don't have the foam strips like this, but you have sheets of double-sided adhesive foam, you could cut that into 1/8 of an inch strips too. But these are pre-cut for you. They're so handy. I never not have them around, just, because they just work. So I'm going ahead and I'm going to take one whole one, and I'm going to go around the circle. So you don't want to go around the bottom of the card, because all of your sequins and stuff will be sitting at the bottom of the card and nobody will see them. Like here, I've got the foam square right at the bottom of the circle, and my sequins never go any further than the bottom of the circle. So I'm going to go right around, right at the edge of the circle, but not over it, because you don't want to see it from the front. I'm going all the way around. And if it isn't perfectly round, you know what? No one's going to see it. I wouldn't worry about it at all. So one strip goes all the way around, and you don't want to have a gap anywhere, because if you do, you'll lose sequins. Okay? So there is our circle. And these are the For Everything sequins. There's 3 different colors: pink, blue, and green. We're going to use the green ones today. And I'm just going to sprinkle a few, quite a few. I love shaker cards. Love them, love them. I did a couple of shaker cards, or a shaker card. Well, I did a couple, but I think I videoed one that I made with last month's paper pumpkin. And I have this month's paper pumpkin, but I quickly opened it at class the other night to show the ladies, but I haven't sunk my teeth into it yet. So I'm looking forward to digging that out. But I told Jennifer that I would do her card in one of my videos. So I thought I'm going to get that done, um, and then I can play with my paper pumpkin. So what I'm looking for now is my 3.5 by, or 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. So here it is. And I'm just going to, I've peeled off my backing, and I'm just going to lay that right on there, but straight. So I'm dealing with static electricity and the adhesive. So you know what? It's not straight. I'm going to trim it because I don't want to fight with it. So let me just trim that off. And I'm actually just going to trim a little bit closer to the edge. And there's our shaker element. Isn't that sweet? So now to put this onto our card, I'm going to take some more of my foam strips, and I'm going to go all the way around my card because you don't want it sagging anywhere. So I'm going to go top and bottom, and then both sides. And there's quite a distance between the top and the first, the top part of the little circle there. So I'm just going to pop a piece here because I don't want any of it sagging. I'm going to use up this one on the side. Yeah, if you don't have these, I highly recommend them. They're so great for, different things. It doesn't have to be a shaker card. They're great for other things too. So I'll cut that there, and I'll pop it over here. Oh, that's adorable. All right, so now I'm going to peel this off. Oh, it's clouding over again. You can tell it's mating season. We saw the most brilliant cardinal. I think it was yesterday. It was so bright, like brighter than they are sort of later in the season. I don't know if it was because he was just young or if he just had his full mating colors on, but it was beautiful. Absolutely the most gorgeous cardinal ever. Okay, so I'm going to line this up. Now, obviously, you want to line up your circles, but you also want to make sure that you're straight so that your border all the way around is the same. So there's our shaker card. Next, we need our rhino. And I pre-cut a bunch of them yesterday, so I'm going to just color these fellas. So I need my smoky slate dark and smoky slate light. And same thing, I'm just going to color them there. So cute. He's adorable. Oh. All right. So then he can go inside. Right here. All right. So next we need some trees. So let's see. Do I have any tree parts left? I do not. So let's grab the mossy meadow. And what did I do with? Here we go. With our early espresso. I've got my plates. Okay, so let's cut out some trees first. So I've got the adhesive sheets on the back. I can cut out 2 trees at once here, I think. Okay. All right, so there's 2. All right, so pop out that tree and this tree. And I'll cut out a couple more. Alrighty, so there's our branches. Here we are. And we need some tree tops. So and will we fit one of those in there? Let's just check. I think if we go this way, maybe. So they're very close together. I have to be very careful that they don't cross over. All right, so there's 2, and I really would like one more. So, and I have a piece here. You can get another big one out of that one. There we go. Alrighty. So back in the dish so you don't land on the floor. And okay, let's get this puppy together. Oh, you know what? We didn't cut out our little birds. Okay, so we'll cut out some little birds in a minute. That's all right. All right, so we have our trees. One more little piece right there. There. So where did I put them? I put one here. The same thing, we're going to snip off anything extraneous. So off he goes. And I'll put another one just up here because we don't want to cover his face. So cute. And let's see. going to grab a pair of tweezers here and see if that's faster. It is. Who knew? Who knew? It's like we've had 4 seasons in one day. Right now the sky is absolutely blue. And we had a winter storm warning at 1:30. It started at about 11:30. And then when we were out for our walk this morning, it was downright balmy and sunny. Very weird weather. I think I'm going to put this one higher so that the treetops are not in his face. I think that might be in his face. Let's take that off. Where will we put this guy? Let's put it down here, I guess. Yeah, I think that's better. Yeah, that's good. It's not covering up his face. So cute. Adorable. I'll put this one up here. I think I'll use fast fuse on that. And I should be using my silicone mat, which is literally right here somewhere in this mess. Okay, so I'm going to pop this on here. Go a little lower. There. Oh my gosh, how cute. Okay, so next we need our clouds. And I guess I could have cut all this stuff out at the same time, but so here's the circle that we cut out earlier from the card base. So I'm going to use that to cut out my clouds and hopefully they'll fit. So here's my circle. And here are my clouds. And I just really need one, but I'm going to cut out 2. Because you never know. There we are. And I should cut out my birds. So we'll cut out our birds. I feel like I'm flying by the seat of my pants again today. Whoops. Come on. Magnet sheets are dish is great, except that it doesn't want to give up the magnets too easily. There's one. And there's 2. They're so cute. Oh my gosh. Okay. This does not want to stay on there. All right, let's try that again. All right, so I'm going to paint these guys red. There. All right, so, we need our sentiment. So for the sentiment, I'm going to use Hope Your Birthday is Wild. And I'm just going to stamp it on a scrap of basic white. Before we lose everything here. My Memento ink. Alrighty. All right, now to cut this one out, I'm actually going to be using the Stylish Shapes squares. And I'm using the second smallest square. And I'm just going to trim that so that I can use my mini, because my mini is right here. So this is how I roll. I don't pre-cut everything, and sometimes I do, but it's not my nature to be that organized. So I kind of do it in steps, the way I think, you know. So if you're more organized than me, then all the power to you. I wish I was, but I'm not. All right, so that was Stylish Shapes. If you only want to purchase like one shapes die set, I highly recommend this one because it's got everything you need. It's got squares, tags, circles, beauty. It is the best. Okay, so now I just need my little piece of Balmy Blue, and I need this to be, well, actually what I want is it to be like a 16th of an inch bigger than this all the way around. So what is this? This is 1.5 by 1.5. So I want it 1 5/8 by 1 So just grab my trimmer. Actually, my little, I don't need to trim that. My little guillotine would work too. So 1 5/8 by 1 5/8. Okay. And I'm going to just put this on here kind of slightly off. And that's going to sit right in the bottom corner there. Like that. And then we can just pop our little birds on. Oops. Okay, and I have another little, here we are, my other little bird. And I'll put him down here. And our cloud. Where the heck is our cloud? Hiding. All right, and our cloud zone. And we'll just pop that right up here. Isn't that adorable? And there's our little shaker card. Now, if you had another bird, you could stick one on his butt, but I don't have another one. But oops, where did you go? There. So cute. Isn't that adorable? So let's recap what we've done. So we're using the Rhino Ready bundle, which comes with the Rhino Ready dies. So you can buy each individually or you can save 10% and bundle it. And then we have our window card. And our other window card that we didn't replicate, but we turned it into a shaker card. Isn't that sweet? So sweet. Love it. So I hope you've enjoyed these. I've really enjoyed sharing my time with you. If you have any questions about any of the products, please let me know at crittersandink@gmail.com, or feel free to place an order with me. I'd really appreciate the business at crittersandink.com. Thanks again. Have a great afternoon. Bye for now.